My name is Olamide Akinde. I'm a content writer, a copywriter, a social media manager, a digital marketer, and a content marketer.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started with this episode.
What I basically love is to help brands promote their services and products online, to help them build their reputation and to help them manage their reputation.
So you before we started to record just now, you told me that you are in Ibadan, right?
Yes,
So were you born in Ibadan or you moved there at a point?
I was born in Ibadan.
Okay, so tell me a bit about your growing up in Ibadan. Okay, I'm not saying you are an old person, or I know you are still a young lady, but tell me when you were much younger there now in Ibadan.
Well, childhood was actually fun because I grew up with four siblings. I'm the last child, four girls and a boy. So, well, basically, my mom didn't like us going to neighbor's house to play around. So it was just myself and my siblings. She would always tell us that you guys are enough for each other. I don't want you to mingle too much and things like that. Well, I believe it had a positive impact in my life and maybe a negative one as well because when I went to the university, I was not really I was not really used to mixing with people. So I don't visit friends. I'm just always alone at home and prefer to maybe chat with a few people I was um, friends with. So, but the positive aspect was that it actually made me, you know, realize more about myself. I had the time to think about who I am, what I have passion for, and things like that. And it also helped me in reading. So whenever I am at home with my siblings, while they were reading novels or anything, they'll just tell me that okay, you two take that book, start reading, and things like that. So since I'm not used to having friends around, I won't have a choice than to sit down and read. So that actually helped me to inculcate the habit of reading.
So what were you interested in reading more? What were the books or the story that you like to read then?
Okay, at first I started with reading Christian books, but yeah, I knew that life goes more about beyond the spiritual stuff. That even if I am closer with God, I don't want to be redundant in the society. So I started reading books from top copywriters like David Holliger and many marketing books, which actually helped me in my career.
So I want to believe that those are some of the things that are sort of entice you into copywriting in the beginning part of it. Of course, we're going to be spending some time talking about copywriting today and content writing because that is what you deal on, right?
Yes.
So it was those books that you were reading or those content, the one that actually entice you into copywriting?
Yeah, not really, because I've always loved writing. And while growing up, my passion was to be an actress and a writer. So I do tell myself stories, and I was determined that okay, all these stories, don't worry, I'll just go to studio, get people together, and start acting. But one or two things discouraged me from acting actually. So
Like what?
well, just the social part. I don't really want to being popular can be really costly because you have to sacrifice a lot of things. You can't go around anyhow. You can't visit any place. You just can't have that liberty. So I believe that I don't want to be, I don't want to be so popular around. And it also has to do with my religion and my personal belief because I think that if I want to be a really popular actress in the secular world, there are some things that I might want to do, some dresses I might be asked to wear that is not part of what I would love to. So that was the main reason why I decided to give up on the dream of acting and focus on writing.
All right, that's good. In a general sense of it, what actually interests you about writing? I mean, like you take up a pen. Okay, this day we don't take a pen that much anymore. We just stand in front of the computer or the phone and we start typing. So, what do you like to write about?
Well, at first, I just love to write about so many things, anything that comes to my mind, because I believe that if I can put down my thoughts, my heart can be a little bit lighter because I imagine so much. I'm an introvert, so whenever things start coming up to my mind, the next thing is just to write first before sharing it with anyone. So that was actually what helped me to in writing, and I believe that if I write, I can impact lives, and years to come, people might just read my write-ups and just love it.
Okay, now tell me a bit about the scope of your writing today. What do you cover? Do you write just about anything, or do you have a certain area that you are concentrating on? Can you share anything with me on that?
Okay, for now, the company I started working with, they were into marketing, advertising, and business growth. So that was how I started. I started writing about business growth, how you can market yourself online, advertising tips, and branding. But right now, I also write about lifestyle, I write about health, but I haven't written any content that has to do with tech because I believe tech is a little bit, just like the name, tech is a little bit technical, it's a little bit complex. So those are the scopes I write for now: lifestyle, health. I also write about religion because I strongly believe in my religion. I write about business growth and entrepreneurship.
All right, let's look at business goal and let's look at goal generally, as it were, no, in your writing. I don't know if you want to actually look at how you write. No, is it a topic just come to your mind, you start writing, or someone they need to give you a kind of a commission to write, somebody give you a project, say, write it for me, you need to write it like this or like that. I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
Okay, yes, it all depends on my clients' what my client wants. But basically, the project I'm working on with an international client at the moment, he commissioned everything to me. So I made researches on what his competitors are writing about, what people are searching for online on Google, so that we can write relevant and timely content. Because one of the main mistakes many people make is they assume that people are really will be interested in a topic. So when they put out that content, they will notice that people don't like the content won't have reach and things like that. So basically, even when clients tell me that, okay, I want you to write on this, I try to guide them so that it won't actually affect the effectiveness of my work. Because when you follow everything your client tells you without trying to enlighten them about some things, there will be aftermath, such as maybe the content had low view. They'll be like, okay, the content you wrote for me doesn't have view. Does that mean the way you structure your sentences are not really attractive enough or something like that? So basically, what I do is you tell me what you're really interested in, the problem you want to solve, and I'll make researches, see what people are actually looking for. That is this problem really a problem to your audience, or it's just an assumption? So I do that before I put out anything.
I like that part that you need to write, make sure that you are writing what the people are interested in instead of writing in assumption, thinking that maybe people will like it. At the end of the day, they don't like it, no. And okay, that is not going to be very successful if you are going to be making money on content writing, which of course we are going to be talking about later on. All right, I'm interested in your research. How do you embark on your research to know whether the audience is actually interested in what you're writing? How do you manage to know that so that you're not writing on assumption?
Okay, the first two approaches I make is number one is to use keyword tools. There are research tools such as SEMrush, we have Obasuggest, we have Araf, and different research tools you can use. So if I want to write about digital marketing, I know that okay, the problem I want to solve is people, small businesses. If I want to solve, sorry, I just want to construct that very well. If the problem I want to solve is that I want to help small businesses that are not really getting um, that are not really getting profits from maybe their email campaigns or whatever form of digital marketing strategy they are using. So I'll type that keyword on research tools like SEMrush. SEMrush is actually my favorite. So I will type it there and they'll bring suggestions. They'll bring articles my competitors have written on. They'll bring list of websites that have written about that topic. Then I'll make researches, see what they haven't talked about. So I'll make sure that my content bridge the gap between what people have said and what others haven't. Because if you keep on writing about what other people have been saying, it will make your brand have that big authority. But if you are exclusive with your writing, you talk about things many people are not talking about or nobody has ever talked about, it's it brings you that big credibility and authority. So, and the second approach is observation. LinkedIn is the main platform I'm active right now. So I search for keywords like digital marketing, branding, stuff like that. So I check posts, what people have written on, and I also check influencers' profiles because some people actually post articles. So if the basic thing they talk about is branding and they post articles related to branding, I will look into it and see what people are actually talking about. Because even if I work for Nigerian clients, I will tell them that don't base everything in Nigeria. So you just have to go global for you to, get that big authority. So those are the two main strategies I use.
That's very interesting, Jenny. Before I was doing an interview with a linguistics, no, and a language expert. We were looking at Creole, Haitian Creole, because that is what she deals with more. At the point, we also look at Nigeria because I say in Nigeria we have the Pidgin English, which of course in my view should have actually been the official language in Nigeria. So at least we have an identity, a control over it. Um, then, of course, at a point, we started to look at the importance of language, even itself, no? Because we are talking of, you are making reference to Nigeria now and also international, it becomes interesting. So I'm going to go back to the argument again. Um, Writing for an audience in Nigeria and writing for audience international, what difference does it make?
To me, it doesn't make much difference. To me, that's just it. Because audience in Nigeria are not restricted to Nigerian content. And the funny part is, social media has just taken all of us beyond our geographical area. As a Nigerian, if I read a content that I don't know if you're familiar with this kind of approach, some people they write like they speak their local dialects. So whenever I read content like that, it actually puts me off because a lot of times they are redundancy. So to me, if you want to write, just write in a conversational way. Just try to connect yourself with your audience. And if you want to use maybe local examples, since you're addressing Nigerians, you can go ahead with it. But that should not be.
Okay, no, the sound was a little disturbed there towards the ending, but okay, I get what you're saying. I was thinking if there is a way that maybe what you are writing have um, some sentences, some phrases that are peculiar to the Nigerian audience, if maybe you are writing only for Nigerians, or maybe if I pick up an article to read, am I able to identify that this is an article relating to Nigeria or Nigeria audience?
Yes, in terms of maybe examples, or if you want to write in a way you are telling stories, you can just use some familiar words, maybe popular slangs that is common in Nigeria, something like that.
So if you add those popular slangs that are common in Nigeria and you were to and maybe your audience, okay, one thing is maybe you are writing for me now. I'm from Nigeria, so maybe my audience, a large percentage of it are also Nigeria. Then I ask you to write for me. Okay, that is one case. Another case is maybe somebody who is not in Nigeria, have nothing to do with Nigeria, the Nigerian reality. He just see that you are a writer. He asks you to write. So, would you include those sentences, those slang that might be common to the Nigerian people? That is what I'm trying to understand there.
No, I won't include it.
Do you think it is important to maybe list what we are writing with maybe the sentences that are peculiar to us so that when you pick it up, you read, you say maybe this is a Nigerian writing, for example. I'm not saying it must, or I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right. I'm just like trying to understand how you look at it.
To me, it is very important because everyone cannot be your audience. So I used to work in a newspaper organization. Not actually worked. I did my internship there for 6 months. So there was actually someone. Okay, let me just say the name of the newspaper. The publisher of Nigerian Tribune, African newspaper of Nigeria. There was actually someone that would send features to us to my boss, our decks to just publish it. But there was a time they stopped publishing his content because it was just too rigorous for Nigerian audience to read. Like the first three sentences, you will have to be with your dictionary, search for each word for you to be able to, interpret it. So to me, writing is not about showing your intelligence or using ambiguous words. Just trying to connect with your audience. That's it. If your audience are not really educated, if Pigeon will help you get the message across to them, connect with them, then go ahead with Pigeon. If simple sentences will help you connect with them, go ahead with it. To me, writing goes beyond showing your intellect or telling people that okay, I know the rigorous words, ambiguous words, then just send it to them. To me, it's just about communicating, which is really important. So if you want to write to Nigerian audience, just make sure you simplify your sentence because if your content is too complex, no one will read it. Just be you whenever you write because if you try to imitate others, you might actually miss it. And I believe it sometimes has to do with people you are working with. I know some people, some clients, or some bosses actually pressurize their employees and others to just follow a certain pattern, which shouldn't be. Just be you. I used to know a lady. It was actually her father that was just on her. You have to talk like an American. You have to do things like an American. And whenever she's around you, you will just see that she's forcing it. It was so obvious and
Thanks for that.
for so it was so obvious and it's to me it's quite not authentic and some people might actually get angry and don't really like you for not being you. So I don't feel it's just about how you imitate people, but what you have to offer. If you are valuable enough, you're authentic enough, and you know your audience, trust me, people will. No matter who you want to address, maybe you are among Canadians or something like that, or any other people from other countries, they will actually respect you. It's not just about how well you are able to imitate them.
All right. Anyway, I don't want to take that argument longer than that. Even though actually it needs to, because of course in Nigeria, we are both American and English, no? Okay, both the American English and the British English. We don't know which one is actually the official. Okay, we tend to use the British English because we were colonized by the British, but we can see now a lot of Nigeria actually using the Nigerian spelling, no? Sorry, the American spelling, no? But nobody's bothered enough to say this is the Nigerian way of doing it. It's okay. Let's leave that for that. Now, talking of audience, have you find it sometimes important to identify who you are writing for? Okay, one thing is to write for to is to write for a client who already tell you the audience that is writing for. Or he can simply tell you, write an article for me about the about I don't know, about content research, for example. No, it might be that is where it ends. But say maybe another thing can be you are writing it yourself. Maybe you have a blog, you are writing content for your blog, for your own blog. So in that sense, it becomes important for you to decide everything. And I think audience it become important in that sense that you identify who is the audience that you are writing for. That is where I'm going. How do you go about that?
Okay, to me, even before you start maybe a business or anything, you should know your audience. And just like I said earlier on, everybody cannot be your audience. So if you're finding it so confusing to decide the exact people that are your audience, just try to a little bit personalize it. Think of what you want, who you are, and what you the main thing you actually want to do. For instance, I am a content writer. I write for websites. I'm a content and a copywriter. I write for website owners and help people manage their brands online. So I know that my target, what I do is to write content, help people, help people build their brands online. So who needs to build their brands? Their companies, CEOs, people that have businesses or entrepreneurs. So that is when I know that okay, these people are my audience. So before you look for your audience, before you decide who your audience are, just know who you are, what you want to do, what you want to offer. Then you can know then you have the guide to know who to approach and who really needs your service.
Is there a risk for not identify your audience while you are creating content?
Sure, there's a risk because I know one of my connections reached out to me some weeks ago and she was like she doesn't really know what she wants, and to me she was asking about the engagement, but unfortunately there was a time the engagement dropped. Why? Because for instance, if you've been talking about how to build your visibility online and all of a sudden you changed and you start talking about relationship, how to maintain your relationship, how to keep your husband, you lose your former audience, which will affect your content engagement, your post engagement. So what I told her was like, you don't, you can just quit writing for some time, take a break, not quit. You have to take a break, know what you want. Building relationship online, it's not an easy thing. People really get upset easily, like the things turn them off easily. So if you write about relationship today, you write about branding tomorrow, you write about content writing next tomorrow, you are not constantly building that relationship. So once your audience see that there are people that are concentrated on talking about what they are really interested in, they leave you and go for other people, which may actually affect your credibility. And to me, what I tell people about content marketing is that about branding generally is that branding is not about um, saying that your content wants to buy, but it's about building relationship that whenever your content your audience needs something, you'll be the first person they think about. Okay, for instance, there's an online store, I won't mention the name of the store. I've been seeing their adverts for maybe like let's say 3 years. I never knew I would buy something from them. But when I needed something, the first thing that came to my mind was that online platform where I can buy something. So that's exactly what branding does. It's not about, sometimes it may not be that the person will buy immediately from you, but building that relationship, putting yourself in their mind that whenever they are in need of that thing, you'll be the first person they contact. So if you talk about so many things, they won't remember you. So when you focus on basic things, it will actually help you to have an identity, not just talking about random things or saying whatever you feel. Just like me, sometimes I feel like posting some things on LinkedIn, especially things that are happening around or something like that. But I know that it might actually affect my brand. So that's why you have, maybe your WhatsApp is okay. But if you're actually building your brand on big platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, things like that, you just have to be mindful of what you post. You don't talk about everything, you don't engage on everything because it might actually affect your identity.
That's very important. It's very important. Now, do we know why some people don't take the time to build their brand? Is there a reason for that? Why they don't, okay, not really build a brand, why they are not mm, like very determined on who is their audience instead of maybe doing generalities, serving everybody in the market?
Well, there are different reasons. The first one is some people are actually ignorant that they need it. The second one is some people don't have the time. The third reason might be because some people actually find it lazy, because the truth is it's not easy to it's not easy to build a brand. It's not really easy, and the truth is you can't get it all figured out at once. When I started, I was actually having, there will be a moment you feel like, should I just change my focus? Especially if you're not getting um a fast result. Let me just say that. So, but if you know the essence of branding and you're ready to put in the work, then it's okay. But for people that don't invest in branding, maybe they are not interested, or they don't want to put in the work, or they don't know the importance of branding.
Now, writing, is it really difficult? I mean, content writing, do you think it's difficult?
Well, I won't say it is not, and I won't say it is. So, for example, if you ask Ronaldo that is dribbling difficult, it might actually tell you that so simple or things like that. Even if you ask him that, okay, is goal scoring difficult? If you want to score, is it really difficult? He will tell you it is not, because number one, he has passion for it. He has trained himself, and it is what he loves. So to me, writing is easy, although sometimes you might also have what we call the writer's block or things like that. But I feel whatever you have passion for will be easy. So to some people, writing is not easy, but because it is what I have passion for, it is one of my talents that I have trained myself on. It is easy.
All right, that's a very good example. Also, the one that you gave with Ronaldo. Um, but Odyssey, I want to ask you, have there been any challenges about your writing? I don't know, was any type of challenge that you have faced in your writing career?
Yeah, a few. Let's start with creator's block. Sometimes you know you want to write, but you're just finding it difficult to just bring out that creativity in you. Probably because this happens most times I if I have a load of things I'm thinking on, or maybe situations are not just favorable. Because for me, writing comes with emotion. If if I don't have this kind of some kind of certain emotions, I'll really find it difficult to articulate my thoughts. So that's the basic challenge. And another challenge is just to, be unique, because many people are writing now. We have different lots of writers. And for you to be unique, you have to bury yourself in learning, learn different approaches, learn headline techniques, learn how to write in a way that we actually We actually make the readers feel as if they are watching movies or something like that. And sometimes you might have to edit like 4 or 5 times. So those are a few challenges that writers face.
Okay, but you personally, what do you really like about writing? I mean, what really turned you on in writing?
Okay, the first thing that I was really interested in about writing was that I wanted to write to make people, to educate people and to entertain them. That was why I talked about I started as a storyteller. So whenever I have this imaginations and just imagining that okay, things can happen, this can happen, I was always eager to put it down to give my friends to read because I know writing goes a long way. Like 10 people might receive the same message even after a very long time. So to me, I love writing about just anything that's happened to me.
How many things have happened to you and provoking you?
Well, so many things. Although I am someone that I'm a private person, so even if you check my online page, you won't really see much about what has happened to me. I don't really share it, not because I don't feel that people might actually have interest in, but that is just who I am. But I try as much as possible to share live experiences, and lately, I've been advocating for happiness based on what I've experienced about
Oh, that's
unhappiness.
lovely. Happiness is good. Life is about happiness.
Yes.
How should people be more happy in their life since you are advocating for that?
Okay, the last post I wrote about happiness was, I think, on Sunday. And to me, happiness, you can never find happiness if you are not contented with what you have. That is what I'm advocating that is what I'm advocating for, and it is what I really believe in, that happiness comes with contentment, and you don't, for you to be happy, you don't attach your happiness to anything. Because if you attach your happiness to money, once you see someone that is richer than you, the happiness is gone, and you start feeling, okay, I'm not rich enough. This, I experienced that, and I know how terrible the feeling might be. If you attach your happiness as a lady to beauty, once you see someone that is more beautiful than you or wears an expensive clothes, you just try to fight tooth and nail to get that thing, or just try to beat yourself. But for me, happiness is natural. I see people that are really poor and not really doing well, that they are super happy. They are not forming it or trying to act it, but inside of them, you know that they are really happy. And I know which people that you can see them in expensive clothes, but we that are close with them, we know that they are not really happy. So for me, happiness doesn't have to do with material things or anything. It's just being contented with what you have and trying as much as possible to impact lives.
Now, you also do social media. You are a social media manager also. Do you want to say anything about that? What do you do there and how do you do that?
Okay, as a social media manager, the basic thing I do is to help brands position themselves as a solution to a particular problem. So the main approach is to write content, educate their audience about their problem, because we have different types of audience. Those that are unaware about their problems, those that are aware about their problems but are not aware of the solution, those that are aware about their problem, are aware about their solution, but they just need a pull to the solution. So I make sure as much as possible to write content that really aligns with that and address their audience's pain points. So with that, I help them build trust and generate sales.
All right, the sales is very important, and that takes us to money. How do you make money from your content writing? I did make mention of this before, so this is the time we address that.
Okay. The thing is, I don't, although people do it, like they approach people to write on their website without paying, but that's not me. I do tell people that, well, because I've had few people, approaching me and telling me to write for free or things like that. I don't do that. Except if you're advocating for a good cause that I feel that, okay, I am interested in this and I am willing to write articles for you for free. That is totally different. But generally, I charge for whatsoever I want to write. If I want to write social media posts for you, I charge. If I want to write on your website, I charge. If I want to write sales copy for you, I charge. So that's how I make my money.
And it is legitimate. It is good because you spend your time building yourself. So when you write and you charge for it, it is the right thing to do because so that you can begin to write more. You know, I say it often here. Everything you know how to do is money. It can be transformed into money. So we should not be ashamed to say, well, I don't know if I should charge for it to, maybe they charge for it. Say, this is how much I am taking to write this amount of content for you. They're not interested, okay, look for another one. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, like, I also agree with you. It doesn't mean that you can never write for free. I've written for free for a number of websites. At one time, I decided to do journalism course. I needed a website where I would practice, so I wrote for a number of websites actually. Though now I still can write for free depending on what is the situation. But having said that, it is right that you charge for what you know how to do.
Absolutely.
Now, how do you go about that market? Because if you stay at home, then nobody will even know that you write and you write for money. Tell me about that marketing of your talent to make money from it.
Okay. The basic thing for me is to position yourself. Writers, you can't go from maybe one place to another and put that banner on your head that, okay, I'm a writer, this and that. You have to position yourself online. When I started last year, I started on Facebook, and the main thing I did was I joined Facebook groups. I started writing content, helping content writers like me to improve their writing skills. So whenever I make researches and find out something new, maybe a new headline techniques, I write about it, post it there. Whenever I make researches on how to get connected with your target audience or anything, I just post it on the groups. And that was how people that have websites, that was how they started approaching me, telling me that, okay, I'm doing this, I want you to write for me, how much do you charge, and things like that. For the matter of fact, the first writing gig CV, because my profile was my CV. He had been seeing my work, seeing how good I am about writing. Because as a writer, you have to prove it. If I talk to you, maybe during an interview, word of mouth, you might not know how good I am in articulating my thoughts and convincing people to believe in something or take action. So, as a writer, the main thing I will tell you is that keep writing things, posting relevant content online so as to convince people that you can really do well.
All right, that's good. Convince people that you can do well. I want you to spend these few seconds to convince people on how to get you, um, what you can do for them. So advertise yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks for that opportunity. Just like I said earlier on, the main thing I do is I help brands build their presence online, become authorities, and generate sales. And how do I go about this? I make researches on what their competitors are doing and what they are not doing. Then I help them to create content that bridge the gap between what their audience are looking for that their competitors are not making mention of. And I position them as an authority and solution to their problems. So that's the basic thing I do. And I also write copies, email campaigns, I write Google Ads campaigns, Facebook ad campaigns, and sales copies to convince people that your product and service is what they need to solve their particular problem. I write to people's art, I connect people with your business, and I help you grow your business.
Now, for people who don't know the difference between article and copy, because you did mention of the fact that you help people to write copy, can you spend some few seconds explaining that?
Okay, the main difference between article is to inform and educate, while the main reason why you write copy is to make sales. So for article, you might not talk about anything that has to do with selling, just to educate your audience about what this is, how this things is, why it is like this. But for copy, even if you talk about what these things is and why it is like that, you always link them to maybe your website or homepage, or tell them about your business and ask them to buy or book your service. So that is the difference. For article, you don't have to tell anyone to buy, just to build trust, just to make them see you as someone knowledgeable that they can connect with. But copy, you are calling them to buy.
Is there another thing you would like to say to conclude the conversation? We have come almost to the end of it. Go ahead and do that, if any.
Okay, just like Mr. Obia said about how I got to write, how I started writing, and things like that. I found out that many people have downplayed their passion because they feel they can't get to make much out of it and things like that. And I don't want you or anyone listening to me right now to fall into the same category. Yes, there were times people feel that writing is just a child's play, it's something that you can't really use to help people, it's something that you can't use to impact lives. To me, whatever you're interested in, whether writing, whether speaking, or anything, just find a way to develop your skill, find how you can help people. Think about making impact before thinking about making money, because when you're valuable, money will definitely come to you. So to me, follow your passion. Don't say because I am a writer and you definitely want to force yourself into writing. Just follow your dreams, follow your passion. Try it, see how you can help people with it. Position yourself as a solution to a problem, and you start making money.
Do it and the money will come.
Yes.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewafo. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.